I have found the perfect snack for my family, and today I want to share that recipe with you. But before we get started, I'm Julia, Aaron's behind the camera, and we are the Candy Couple, a small homestead family in rural Southwest Virginia that work every single day to merge homesteading and frugality. Today I want to share my recipe for cracker bread. And if you want to see more content like this, we would really appreciate if you would hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And cracker bread, this is kind of like a very lean bread recipe that you roll out and you treat it like crackers and you cook it in your oven at a high heat. And I'm going to tell you, this has been like our snack go-to now.
This is my snack. I mean,
it is. And my little one liked it.
Yep.
My little one liked it. So the basic recipe, you could do it plain, but where this gets exciting is when you add flavorings to it. You can add any flavorings you want. Now, I will tell you, I did a barbecue seasoning. If the seasoning isn't good.
It was a very cheap barbecue one.
It was a very cheap barbecue one.
And we don't use it that often just because it ain't been that good of one. So I could definitely tell.
We didn't like it.
Yeah.
But the tomato basil was very good. The tomato basil was really good. You liked it, didn't you?
I did.
I think this would be great with garlic and herb.
Probably so.
But this is what we like it. This is a chili lime.
This is my favorite. So this one here.
We've tried to make it.
Yes, tried to make that one before.
It did not work.
No. So what I'm trying to find to replace, something healthier was
it's not perfect, but it's better.
Taquitos.
The Takis
or whatever how you say that there. Those were amazing, and this is the closest we could make.
But you like these better than your Takis?
Maybe not.
Maybe not better, but they're
they're a good replacement.
And then you can just do salt. So the two I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to do a chili lime and I'm going to do a salt one. And I've got some tips and tricks that I do to make this recipe really work for us. And I've altered it because I've made it a few times and I've had some failures and I've had some successes. And I'm kind of trying to figure out the foolproof and easiest way for me to do this. So we're going to start off with 1.5 teaspoons. Was it teaspoons? Nope. 1.5 tablespoons. 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. Your dry active yeast. So I've got that in the bowl already. I'm going to take a cup of warm water. I have our whole wheat flour here. We need 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. Now, I've not made this without the whole wheat flour because I had the whole wheat flour on hand. And it doesn't add a wheaty flavor.
No, I can't tell it at all.
I think it has to.
Well, honestly, I was going to say, I didn't know that's what you'd been using it with because I couldn't taste it. It tasted like the regular
I bought this
flour.
ages ago, and I know people are like, oh my God, you can't use this flour. It's fine. It smells fine, tastes fine. We've not had any issues. And then it's a teaspoon of salt. I use a little bit more than a teaspoon. And you're going to mix this together. Now, you're not going to let this sit like you would bread. We're going to go ahead and start adding in the flour. And it's not too long of a recipe. I would say the hardest part is the amount of time it takes for the crackers to cook in the oven. That's probably the hardest part. But once it starts going, you're kind of on a timer. Now, I don't know how shelf stable these are, but with this batch, I'm actually going to put some into a jar. And we are going to actually see how long I can get these to last. Because my goal is, I'm going to have a prepping season on our homestead. We're going to seasons of growth, seasons of maintenance, seasons for prep. Whenever I can start getting us ready and have a lot of these basic items on hand, shelf stable, ready to go for the summertime, so I don't have to heat my house up, because this requires your oven to be at 450 degrees. So now we're going to do 2 cups of regular flour. And this is just the King Arthur unbleached all-purpose flour. You all see I have vinegar going. We have garlic and honey going. We have garlic, honey, and peppers going. We've been busy. I'm saying we. I've been busy.
Hey,
And
At least you're using we.
I put this together slowly, and this dough is going to look kind of sticky as you work through it. Now, the original recipe I did, it said use 3 cups of flour. You might need more water. And the last time I made it, I was like, what if I just cut out a cup of flour? It worked out really well. Aaron said they were the best he'd had. And if you notice, my fingers are stained. I have been working on beets this week, and I worked on apples this weekend, and I have scrubbed and scrubbed my hands, and I cannot get them, I can't get the stains off. And now we just kind of mix it together. What we want to do is form a ball. You just want to incorporate all that flour together. And like I said, this is going to be a bit sticky, and that's okay. It works out. It seems too sticky, but I found when I add more flour to it, it became too thick. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, yes.
So, because the last time I made them, you said they were
perfect.
So I used less flour, and then I'm going to show you what else I did to really help make these work for us. Just mixing it up. And this is all I do. And I just put it together really loosely. This is it. Now, I'm actually going to put this in my oven. My oven is not preheating right now. I'll put this in my oven because it's safe from any bugs or anything like that. And I have found proofing works really well in my oven without the light on. I'm going to put it in my oven for 30 minutes until it doubles in size. It'll probably take it about 15. Now, here's what it looks like after it has proofed. This is a salt one. So I'm not going to do anything to this, but add a little bit extra salt. And we're just going to put it here on our mat. We're going to let it do its second proof. But before we do that, we're going to break it apart. Now, the recipe that I originally started working for had more flour. And what they had you do was break this up into 30 individual pieces that you were going to roll out individually. We're not going to do that. That's not how we work with this one. So what I do is I actually will roll this into 5 little balls. And then whenever we go to bake it, we're going to put them on silicone mat. You can use parchment paper, whatever you have on hand that's oven safe. And then I'm going to cut it on there, so that way I'm not having to individually place these, because I individually placed them the first time, and that was a nightmare. So we're going to break it up into 5 balls. Some of them can be bigger, some of them can be smaller. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You're just going to treat it like you do like making rolls. So you're just going to roll them out. And then we're going to cover it with a cloth and let them rest for 10 minutes. And then we'll put them in the, and then we'll roll them out, slice them up, and get them in the oven. And that is all we actually do here. So when we come back, I'll show you what it looks like to get these in the oven, and also how to add the spices. Okay, so let me show you the next step in the process. As you can see, I've already worked through a lot of these, and I want to share with you how I incorporate our seasoning into our dough. And what I do to make this easier on myself, I felt like after doing the first one, I was doing them on here, then transporting them onto the pan. I was like, how much time did I spend doing this? I mean, it took me a long time. And I realized there's an easier way to do this. So I use these silicone oven mats. You can use parchment paper. I will probably eventually move to parchment paper, but I'm not at that point in my life where that makes sense with the cost and everything. So I'm going to dust it with just a little bit of flour just to get started. And I have a little bit of flour over here, and this is our just plain salt. And we're going to start rolling it out, and you might see I get a little bit of the chili lime flavoring on there, and that's okay. It's because it's on my rolling pin. So once I get some on here, what I do is I take and I just sprinkle my salt onto my dough. I don't like just sprinkling my seasonings onto my dough. I like it to actually stick. And I think this is why Aaron likes mine so well, because the flavoring really doesn't sit in the bottom of the jar, does it?
No. Mm-mm.
It stays on the actual crackers themselves. And then we're going to get this as thin as we can. You're going to be pushing, and I've got that little piece there, and I'm just going to lay it out. And keep pushing it as thin as you can get it, especially on the sides.
The thinner, the crispier
But the better, you got to watch it because you can burn them. I've gotten a few of them a little dark. I've not burnt any yet. Aaron will still eat them.
Oh yeah, they're still good.
He's already been munching. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit more salt. And you think this is a lot of salt? It's really not. You can ask Aaron. He's already been eating some. Mm-hmm. It's really not that much salt. It seems like it, but it just helps you get that flavor, because if you don't season it enough, you're not going to taste the flavor. You're going to get just the flour. And they're still good that way. They're good for dipping, but we like a little flavor. Now, I'm using my handy dandy cutting thing, but you don't have that. Just use a butter knife. It's going to work just as well. So you see, it cuts right through it. So if you don't have one of these, I like this because my lines do get a little bit cleaner. Actually, he caught that one. Had that happen a little earlier today. We just work with it. I think it's the flour that it's catching on. When I use my regular flour, not the wheat flour, it does a lot better. But I'm out of my regular flour right now. I've been baking a lot. Haven't I?
Yes.
Lots of bread. And pumpkin bread. We found my little one likes pumpkin bread. Oh, it's static. So I'm going to set it on here. I'll put it in the oven in just a minute when I get this one ready to go. And this one is going to be our chili lime. So this is the one we do more often than anything. I like having the salted ones, and I asked Aaron which ones he wanted to have on the house, and he told me mostly the chili and lime and salted ones would be his favorite. You can put some seasoning in the water, but this really helps make you bring out the flavor.
Well, why I asked for the salted ones is
For dipping.
The chili lime would probably be okay with Worcestershire, but I prefer the salted ones. So sort of similar to a saltine, you know.
And you heard that, what he said? Yes, he did say Worcestershire. That is what he said. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing, and these are a lot easier because you can actually see the seasoning. And we're just going to keep spreading it out, getting as thin as possible. Now I am careful with this because of the little one. She likes these, but I don't want to burn her up. She's very much our child. She likes all the things we like. We like buffalo. We like the chili lime. We like spicy ziti.
When we're like, hey, she ain't gonna like this or won't even try it. Ooh, this is good, she said.
Good. Cracker. What more cracker? I couldn't believe she was eating these. Like, I couldn't get it. She loves rice and beans. Like, she's our kid. She loves rice and beans. Made rice and beans for lunch. And I pulled out a few crackers for us to have with them. She would not eat her rice and beans till the crackers were gone. I just try to make sure they're not as heavily seasoned for her. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more because I can't sprinkle enough of this on here. Not for Aaron. And this is one of the things, you do what you like, This is totally customizable. Do the flavorings you like, but don't be afraid to use some seasoning. Get you some flavor. I assure you, those boxes of crackers that you get at the grocery store, when you pull them out, they're covered in seasoning in the bottoms of the bags because they use a lot, so you can taste it. I think that's what a lot of people have a problem with. A lot of these recipes don't tell you to put enough actual seasoning in the food. Or the seasoning you're using is old. It might not have as much flavor in it. It just, tell this one did a lot better. I love these little tools. These came in so handy. So I will put these in the oven, and I'm going to do them anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes. It's really going to depend on what the time actually works out with your oven. I would start 4 to 8 minutes. Start kind of glancing at them before. They can burn fast, and they'll kind of get a little dark there, and that's kind of what you're looking for, this kind of golden brown, and just, you hear that crisp. That's why you want them thin. These got a little too dark, but they're still totally fine.
Like, you know, you can hand those to me.
So now we're going to hop off of here. I'm going to get these in the oven, but Aaron's going to come back on, and he's going to do a taste test for you. And trust me, he will let you know if they're not good.
Okay, so I'm here, ready to taste test, so you can tell the difference between the salted ones and the chili lime ones. Now, those are just right, because the crisp to them, just like a crispy cracker or potato chip or something like that, you can think of it as. Perfect. Okay. These here, you see this one here puffed up a little bit more.
And they do that sometimes.
Sometimes they'll do that, but
I know that a lot of people have trouble finding a homemade stack that has a crunch to it.
these are really good. First one that you did,
They were too thick.
They were too thick, so they didn't crunch. But you fixed that.
Well, it took trial and error. I had to practice a lot and remove the flour and just really adjust it to work better.
But these are really good. And these are what I grab when I'm in a snack mood anymore. I don't go for anything else. I just go for these.
Yep.
Well, because I don't really have anything else, you know. But these are, you saw what ingredients went in it. A lot healthier.
And few ingredients. I tried to make them as cheap as we could.
Right. So I will have a good time with these and the ones in the oven over the next week or two. It usually lasts me about
2 weeks. One batch lasts you 2 weeks.
Yep. So, if you've got any comments, questions, you can either leave those down below or send it to thekennycouple@yahoo.com. Make sure to go over and check out our link tree with all of our other content. And
as always, thank you for joining us on The Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.